Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundless success to join today. Let's get you to the next level. We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup.
This is the raw, naked truth.
Terror attacks in Israel. Kash Patel confirmed. A new direction for James Bond, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. 3 buses in a parking lot exploded in Israel on Thursday night in what appears to have been a terrorist attack. The 3 buses exploded at around 8:30 p.m. as they sat at a bus depot in Bat Yam, a city located just south of Tel Aviv. Firefighters arrived on the scene and put out the fires. The 3 buses were empty at the time and no one was wounded. Several other bombs were reportedly discovered on other buses, according to TPSIL, an Israeli news agency. Israeli officials have ordered all bus and train services halted while all vehicles are inspected for bombs following the 3 bus explosions. The mother of 2 young boys murdered by Hamas terrorists while in captivity was not among the bodies returned to Israel on Thursday, the Israeli Defense Forces said. Before the return of the remains of the 4 slain hostages, Hamas said the bodies would include Shiri Bibas and her 2 toddlers, Ariel and Kefir, ages 4 and 10 months, as well as Oded Lifshitz, a retired journalist and activist. However, Israel's National Institute of Forensic Medicine could only determine the identity of 2 of the bodies, the young boys. During the identification process, it was determined that the additional body received is not that of Shiri Bibas, and no match was found for any other hostage, the IDF said. This is an anonymous, unidentified body. This calls into question how many hostages were actually held by Hamas, and are there more people that we don't know about? Dissidents from across the globe gathered in Geneva, Switzerland to tell the stories of their survival and escape from authoritarian regimes. In just a few days, the United Nations Human Rights Council will kick off its 58th session in that same city. In his opening remarks at the Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy, UN Watch Executive Director Hillel Noor set the record straight on the UN Human Rights Council. You know, when most people hear the words UN Human Rights Council, they imagine in their minds men wearing long white beards, dressed in white robes, strolling along Mount Olympus, basing their decision on facts, logic, and morality, when nothing could be further from the truth, Noor said. Sitting around the table at the UN Human Rights Council across the street are not Aristotle, Socrates, or Plato. Rather, many of the world's worst violators of human rights. They use their membership as a false badge of international legitimacy to gain impunity for their records of abuse. Current members of the council include Afghanistan, China, Iran, and Venezuela. Australia is keeping close watch on Chinese military ships traversing waters off its coast, according to Richard Marles, Australia's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence. He noted this during an interview on Sky News Australia. Marles said that the ships have been abiding by international law, though he described the situation as not unprecedented but an unusual event. He said that while the ships have the right to be located in international waters, Australia has the right to surveil the ships. The Senate on Thursday voted 51 to 49 to confirm Kash Patel as FBI director. Senator Mitch McConnell voted yes on the conservative firebrand's confirmation, even while moderates Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins voted no. A vote to invoke closure and begin 2 hours of debate on the nominee passed 51 to 47 earlier Thursday. Members of the Senate Judiciary Committee voted earlier this month 12 to 10 to advance Patel to the full floor for a vote. Still, Patel faced a rockier path to confirmation even in the Republican majority chamber after Democrats on the panel used their political weight to delay Patel's confirmation vote earlier this month. Speaking at a conference in Miami this week, President Trump proposed taking 20% of the savings from the Department of Government Efficiency's attempt to cut government spending and giving it to U.S. households in the form of checks. Based on DOJ's goal of $2 trillion in cuts, that would amount to about $5,000 per household. Experts caution that DOJ's goal is virtually impossible to meet, while the checks would likely increase inflation because they count as economic stimulus. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has announced new state and city bills that would add oversight to the New York City mayor's office, sources familiar with the governor's decision said Thursday, a move that comes amid Mayor Eric Adams' legal woes and his recent cooperation with President Donald Trump. Instead of removing Adams from office, as the governor had reportedly considered, the sources said that Hochul would set up guardrails, which could include the addition of an independent monitor at City Hall. Hochul reportedly met with multiple New York leaders this week while considering removing Adams from his job. Senior prosecutors in New York and Washington have reportedly resigned after refusing to follow a Department of Justice order to drop charges against Adams. Amazon is taking over creative control of the famed James Bond franchise from its longtime producers, the company announced yesterday. The deal is a culmination of an off-camera deadlock between Amazon and Barbara Broccoli, who, along with her brother Michael G. Wilson, inherited control of the Bond franchise from their father. The family maintained ironclad control over the intellectual property for more than 60 years. Under a new joint venture, creative control will go to MGM Studios, which Amazon acquired in 2022 for $8.5 billion, while the two Broccoli family members will remain co-owners in the franchise. It's a boon for Amazon. The 25 Bond films have made a collective $6 billion at the domestic box office. The first game of spring training kicked off Thursday as the Chicago Cubs dominated the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers 12-4. Dodgers pitcher Bobby Miller was hit in the head by a 106-mile-per-hour line drive in the third inning. Miller was able to walk off the field under his own power and is now going through concussion protocols. It squared him up pretty good, manager Dave Roberts said after the game. It was kind of the front side of the head, and you can just see the distance that it traveled once it hit. So there was some deflection, but it hit him pretty flush. Dodger third baseman Max Muncy said, "Miller seems like he was okay." That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.